students not to borrow more than they truly need. And I think in a lot of cases, there's a bit of, well, look, let's borrow enough money to not only pay for tuition and books and room and board, but also to pay for joining a college fraternity or a sorority and partying on the weekend, and you know, it's okay, you know, we don't have to pay it back and we'll get a job and everything will be hunky-dory. And then all of a sudden students graduate, and if their degree, and it's almost like today, any degree is not very helpful for them to immediately get a job, and then they've got these loans coming due. So I don't think that throwing more money at student loans is really the answer. I think we're doing enough in that regard. As far as funding for wars, you know, they're very expensive, and I guess we have, and you probably have the numbers there in your pad, we've probably spent well over $1 trillion, maybe closer to $2 in Afghanistan and Iraq over the last 10 years. And then, of course, we jump in with Libya in saying, well, we're only going to put in a no-fly zone, but you can't do that without bombing the heck out of defense facilities along the coast of the Mediterranean and losing lives. And I was not in favor of that. I felt like that the president needed to come to the Congress and ask for a resolution to do that, but he never did. And certainly I did not vote in support of that.
Thank you very much for being here today and having this town hall meeting. And even though I'm from a county that may not wind up in your future district, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I have a thank you and an encouragement and a question. Thank you for your informative emails from you and your staff. I have found them very helpful, very informative about pending issues, and anyone that's not been to his website, a lot of areas you can click on and get information about, and you don't have to wait for a town meeting. Encourage you to continue the efforts to reduce the size of government and not increase our taxes where possible. But you know, maybe one area that might help with Social Security and Medicare would be just to increase the payroll tax on both the employee and the employer by 1%. You know, that might not be a favorable subject, but it would sure help with the financial stability of those Social Security and Medicare funds. Medicaid obviously was grown tremendously in the last 3 years due to the downturn in the economy and the unemployment impacting Medicaid. That may resolve itself as the economy grows, but we've got to get more people with skin in the game, so to speak, in terms of paying taxes. Having 51% of the tax-paying public eligible to pay taxes and are not paying any taxes just cannot work for us for the long term. Got to get more people contributing to the long term. In terms of locally, here in our state of Georgia, and especially Paulding County, water resources have been a topic of great interest and causing us some real problems during our drought years. And especially for some of us in Paulding County, we get our water from another county, and during drought periods, the quality of the water is not good. I certainly wouldn't drink it myself. So can you give us an update on what's going on to get the permits through the Army Corps of Engineers and EPA and others on water?
All right, John, thank you. Those two very important questions, and I'll address the first one, the last one first. In regard to the water situation, all of you know that for the last, 16 years, we have had the so-called tri-state water war ongoing among the states of Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. And of course, the water that we're talking about is water that originates in the state of Georgia, in the North Georgia mountains, in regard to the Chattahoochee River, and just below the Atlanta International Airport, in regard to the water that flows southwest toward Alabama. And these states, therefore, are both downstream from us, and they object every time the state of Georgia wants to use more of that water that originates, and some of it is impounded, like in the reservoir of Altoona and Lake Lanier, the two largest. There are others, but these are the two main Corps of Engineers impoundments. Lake Lanier, the Buford Dam, was constructed in 1945, and the lawsuit that is wending its way toward the Supreme Court originated in district court in Florida, where a retired Judge Magnuson was assigned to that case and ruled that Georgia had no authority to take water for human consumption. That the Corps only intended that impoundment to be for navigation, hydroelectric power, and flood control. Obviously, the people, particularly in Rome, Georgia, know that all too well, the flood control aspect, that is. But Georgia's argument was, in addition to that, recreation and human consumption. But the district court ruled against us. Fortunately, in a 2-to-1 decision, a 3-judge panel of the 11th Circuit Court here in Atlanta overruled the judge, the Minnesota judge, in the Jacksonville case, and has directed the Corps of Engineers to rewrite their manual to include human consumption. And ultimately, while we have won that court case, I'm sure that it will ultimately go to the Supreme Court. I think will still prevail, but it's going to be incumbent upon the 3 governors, and they're all Republican governors. I think we had a situation at one point where they were all Democratic governors, maybe not. Maybe it was 2-to-1 or whatever, but they have got to get together and work out an agreement on how the water is shared, the allocation, and what the flow rates would be at the Alabama line, and do they have enough water to run their nuclear power plant down in southwest, well, it would be Alabama. It would be southeast Alabama, southwest Georgia, but it's on the Alabama side, that nuclear power plant. I'm forgetting the name of it. John, do you know the name of the?
Farley.
Yes, Farley. And then in Florida's case, they're concerned about the flow rate at the Georgia-Florida line as the water eventually gets to the Apalachicola Bay, and they're concerned about the mussels and fish life, and it really, when you cut right to the chase, it's all about economic development, really, in all 3 states, Georgia and the city of Atlanta, which is the economic engine of the state, has prospered. I think more so than Birmingham, and you know, Florida's situation is a little bit different. But clearly, the governors need to come together, reach an agreement, give it to those of us who represent Georgia in Congress, and those that represent Florida, those that represent Alabama, so that we can write a bill and then say to the other 435 members from other states, we are in agreement, the 3 of us, and then it will pass, and we'll be done with this water problem. In regard to Social Security and Medicare, and you mentioned the possibility of raising payroll taxes. I think everybody knows that